Howdy, welcome back to the Disney series and seeing God in the movies. And so this is going to be really interesting. We're going to be diving into The Lion King today, and I'm actually going to start at the end of the movie, the epic war scene. And before we start diving into the movie, I just want to start by reading Ephesians chapter 6, starting in verse 10. And I'm reading out of the NIV. It says, "Finally, be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Therefore, put on the full armor of God, so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground, and after you have done everything to stand firm then, with the belt of truth buckled around your waist, with the breastplate of righteousness in place, and with the feet fitted with the readiness that comes with the gospel of peace. In addition to all of this, take up the shield of faith with which you can extinguish all of the flaming arrows of the evil one. Take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, and pray in the Spirit on all occasions with all kinds of prayers and requests. With this in mind, be alert and always keep on praying for all of the saints." So, we're in a spiritual battle, not with human beings, but with actual spiritual forces in the heavenly realms. So we are dealing with a battle from heavenly creatures. Satan is an enemy of ours. He has a third of the angels in heaven that fell with him, and he is in war against God, and we're his pawns. And so I want you to check out this scene so that you can get a visual picture of what this war looks like.
Kill them all!
Lions, attack!
So we have a battle going on, and in order to have a battle go on, you have to have an enemy. You have good versus evil. And so we're going to take the next couple of clips to define who this enemy is. And so in Ezekiel chapter 28, starting in verse 14, it says, "You were anointed as guardian cherub, for so I ordained you. You were on the holy mount of God and walked among the fiery stones. You were blameless in your ways from the day you were created till the wickedness was found in you. Though your widespread trade, you were filled with violence and you sinned. So I drove you in disgrace from the mount of God, and I expelled you, O guardian cherub, from among the fiery stones. Your heart became proud on account of your beauty, and you corrupted your wisdom because of your splendor. So I threw you to the earth. I made a spectacle of you before kings. By your many sins and dishonest trade, you have desecrated your sanctuaries. So I made a fire come out from you, and it consumed you. And I reduced you to ash on the ground in the sight of all who were watching." So this is referring to Lucifer. He was the most beautiful angel in all of heaven, and he was in charge of all of the worship until things changed, and no longer did he want to be a worshiper of God, but he wanted people to start worshiping him. And so when he corrupted heaven and when he dishonored God, he was cast out of heaven and thrown to the earth. 1/3 of heaven's angels also followed Lucifer, and they became his demons. And Jesus even says in Luke chapter 10, verse 18, he replied, "I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven." So we have an enemy. He wants to be God. He desires to be worshipped. And he is trying to come up with a scheme of overtaking God by turning God's most beautiful creation, human beings, against him.